Hi there, I'm Nicola and I'm back to talk about the third C in our YouTube series on the 5 C's of good copy editing. In the first episode of the series, I talked about conformity. In the second, I covered consistency, and today I want to discuss clarity. This is going to be a pretty short episode. The main thing that I have to say about clarity is that it is extremely difficult to write clearly. You don't think it is, but it is. It really is difficult to say exactly what you are intending to say. In part, that is because you're in a different headspace when you write than you are when you're reading something or editing something. It's also because you are so familiar with your own brain that what you write makes sense to you, makes sense to your brain. But other people have very different sorts of brains and they work differently, and they may take a different meaning from what you're writing. So the quality of writing very clearly is a skill. It's also something that a good editor can help you with immensely. There are a couple of different kinds of clarity issues that an editor can encounter in a particular piece of writing. One that's easy to address is just an utter lack of understanding of what is happening. Often this just involves a typo on the grand scale. Something is missing. Something got messed up. That's something I say it's easy to address because the only thing you can do in that case is contact the writer and say, there's a gap here, there's a gap in thought, something's missing, I'm not understanding what's happening, what are you intending to convey here? The other sort of clarity problem that is much more common is the kind where you can tell what a writer is trying to convey. It is simply that he or she is not conveying it cleanly, effectively, with clarity. Often it's simply a structural issue. Sometimes it's a segue issue or flow issue. These things can always be corrected by a sensitive editor. You simply, using the writer's own sensibility and voice, you adjust the sentence so that it conveys what the writer is intending to convey. What I'd like to do right now is to read a couple of sentences that we encountered at the Cincinnati Review, one in prose and one in poetry, where there were clarity problems, and we resolved them. In the first instance, we did not have to contact the author. In the second instance, we did. So I will read now a sentence that was in a manuscript that we did accept for publication, that we copy edited. This is one of the sentences that had a clarity issue that we worked on, and the story, when it appeared in Cincinnati Review, was perfectly clear. The sentence is, "He looks older than I thought. Older than I thought you were supposed to care about sex anymore." So I'm going to read that one more time. "He looks older than I thought. Older than I thought you were supposed to care about sex anymore." So that is not a sentence that says exactly what it is intending to say, but you know what the writer is trying to say. And this is a sentence we adjusted to read, "He looks older than I thought someone could be and still care about sex." So that is that correction or adjustment. And when we sent the proofs to the writer, he had no problem with that. In a poem that we edited, the lines that appeared that gave us a bit of trouble from a clarity standpoint were, "Tour buses will make the trip 4 times in a day, and on each one, translations in 8 different languages will mark each bend of the road." So let me read that again. "Tour buses will make the trip 4 times in a day, and on each one." So I'm going to stop right there. On each one, what? The closest noun is day. And on each one, on each day, translations in 8 different languages will mark each bend of the road. So once you get down to bend in the road, you realize that one does not actually refer to day, but refers to each trip. Tour buses will make the trip 4 times in a day, and on each one means each trip, not each day. So that is a clarity problem it's structural in nature. And that is an instance where you have to contact the author and say, things are not in the right place here. We need to rearrange these lines, these words, so that your intended meaning gets through. And this poet revised these lines so that they read, no, 4 times in a day, tour buses will make the trip, and on each one. So now one refers to trip and not to day. So that's another just easy solution. Once you contact the writer, say what the clarity problem is, and the adjustments made, easy breezy, it's good. Thanks for watching this little video about the 3rd C of the 5 C's of good copy editing. Next week, I will talk about C number 4, which is conciseness.